Stop rambling. Start sounding sharp. Most people don't have a speaking problem. They have a packaging problem. Your thoughts make sense in your head. Then you open your mouth, and they come out like a junk drawer. Half-finished sentences. Extra context nobody asked for. You add disclaimers to protect yourself. You apologize midpoint. And the worst part is this. You walk away thinking, I'm not good at explaining things. You are not broken. Your brain is doing something normal. It is trying to think and talk at the same time. That's like trying to type while editing every sentence live. It is slow. It is messy. It makes you sound less competent than you are. In this audiobook, I'm going to give you a simple method to articulate your thoughts more clearly than 99% of people. Not by learning fancy words. Not by becoming louder. Not by forcing confidence. We're going to build a repeatable system. You will know what to do when you blank. You will know how to answer questions without rambling. You will know how to sound calm, clear, and decisive, even when you feel stressed. This is for you if you're a practical person who wants results. You have ideas. You want those ideas to land. You want people to understand you the first time. This is not for you if you want a charisma persona or a fake speaking style. We are not doing performance. We are doing clarity. And later, I'll give you the 2-minute version. The version you can use today, even if you have a meeting in 20 minutes. Also, no need to pause or take notes. There's a toolkit in the description with all the tools and a 7-day checklist. You can use it later. The real problem here's the situation most people live in. You get asked a normal question. What do you think we should do? What's your take on this? Can you explain that again? And your brain immediately tries to do 3 jobs at once. Job 1, pick the correct point. Job 2, build the reasoning. Job 3, make it sound good. That is a bad deal. Because thinking is not linear. Thinking is a web. Speaking is a line. A listener can only follow one line at a time. So you start talking before you have a line. You grab one thread. Then you remember another thread. Then you add a third thread, just in case. Now you are tangled. Now they are lost. This is why smart people often sound unclear. Not because they lack intelligence. Because they have more threads. And there's a second problem. You are trying to protect your identity while you speak. You don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be judged. So you hedge. You add extra words. You soften your point. You give 10 caveats. You think it makes you safer. But it makes your message weaker. And weak messages do not get remembered. One concrete example. Imagine you are in a meeting. Someone asks, so what's the risk here? A clear answer sounds like this: the risk is timeline creep. If we ship without a scope lock, we will miss the deadline. I recommend we cut 2 features or move the date. An unclear answer sounds like this: well, there are a few risks, and I'm not totally sure, but one thing might be the timeline, because if we keep adding stuff then it could kind of push things, and I guess we could maybe consider cutting some things, but it depends. Same brain. Different packaging. Your listener is not grading you on effort. They are grading you on clarity. The framework now we build the system. It's called the clear line method. It has 4 parts. 1. Pick the line. 2. Build the spine. 3. Deliver clean. 4. Confirm landing. Pick the line means you choose the one sentence you want them to remember. Build the spine means you support that sentence with a simple structure. Deliver clean means you remove verbal clutter and stop thinking out loud. Confirm landing means you check understanding without sounding needy. If you're driving or working out, just listen. The toolkit has the full steps. Also, keep an open loop in your mind. Later, we will do the 2-minute version. And it will feel almost too simple. That is the point. Tool 1, the line before you talk. What it is. Tool 1 is choosing your line before you speak. Your line is your one-sentence headline. It is the point you want to land. When to use it. Use it anytime you feel yourself about to ramble. Use it when you get asked a question on the spot. Use it when you feel emotion rising and you want to stay calm. How it works. Before you start talking, silently complete this sentence: my point is. That is it. That one move changes everything. Because it forces your brain to pick one thread. Now you are not dumping. You are delivering. Example, someone asks, should we go with option A or option B? You feel the urge to explain every nuance. Instead, Pick the line. My point is we should choose option B because it reduces failure risk. Then you speak. Option B. Because it reduces failure risk. Notice what happened. You did not start with background. You did not start with, well. You led with the line. 7-day mini experiment. For the next 7 days, do this in one conversation per day. Before you answer, take one breath and silently say, my point is, then deliver your first sentence as the line. Time constraint, 15 seconds of prep, maximum. This is not a meditation retreat. This is a quick reset. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode, you pick a line that is too big. You try to fit the whole universe into one sentence. Fix, shrink it. Make it a decision, a recommendation, or a takeaway. Not a life story. Micro summary, tool 1 is not a speaking trick. It is a thinking filter. One line. Then you build around it. If this is useful, subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell. It helps more people find these audiobooks. Tool 2, the 10-second spine. What it is, tool 2 is how you support your line without spiraling. It is a structure you can build in 10 seconds. The structure is called REP reason. Example. Point. You already have a point. Now you add one reason. Then one example. Then you restate the point in clean language. When to use it, use REP when someone asks why, or how, or what makes you think that. Use it in meetings. Use it in interviews. Use it in difficult conversations where you need to sound grounded. Example question, why do you want to change roles? Line, my point is I want a role with more ownership. Reason, because I do my best work when I can drive outcomes end to end. Example, in my last project, I owned the workflow and the results improved. Point again, so I'm looking for a role where I can own outcomes, not just tasks. That is clear. That is easy to follow. That is hard to dismiss. Another example, casual setting. Friend asks, why are you being strict about your weekends? Line, my point is I'm protecting my energy. Reason, because I'm burnt out and I'm tired of paying for it on Monday. Example, when I keep one day unplanned, I start the week calmer. Point again, so I'm keeping weekends lighter, on purpose. Same structure. Different context. 7-day mini experiment. For the next 7 days, use REP once per day. Pick a low-stakes moment. A coworker question. A family decision. A quick explanation. Time constraint, 30 seconds. If you can't do it in 30 seconds, your line is too big. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode, you add 3 reasons and 5 examples. You turn REP into a lecture. Fix, 1 reason, 1 example. Stop. If they want more, they will ask. In the second half, we are going to make this work under pressure. When you get interrupted. When you get challenged. When your emotions spike. And we will do it without pretending you're a robot. In the next chapter, we shift from structure to delivery. Because structure without clean delivery still sounds messy. Quick recap. You are not bad at speaking. You are doing live editing while you talk. So we gave you 2 tools. Tool 1, choose the line. Tool 2, build the spine with reason, example, point. If you only do one thing, do tool 1. Pick the line before you talk. It is the highest leverage move. And remember, the PDF toolkit is there so you can revisit this without rewinding. Tool 3, the clean delivery rules. This is the trade-off chapter. Because clean delivery costs something. It costs speed. It costs ego. It costs the habit of filling space. Most people avoid silence because silence feels like risk. They think if they pause, they look incompetent. In reality, rushed speech makes you look uncertain. A calm pause makes you look deliberate. Tool 3 has 3 rules. Rule 1, start strong. Rule 2, stop bleeding words. Rule 3, control pace with checkpoints. Rule 1, start strong. Weak openings create weak credibility. Avoid, well, so, I guess, kind of. Start with meaning. Start with your line. Instead of, well, I think we could maybe, say, I recommend we. You are allowed to speak with clean edges. Clarity is not arrogance. Rule 2, stop bleeding words. Most people leak uncertainty through filler and hedges. Not because they are uncertain. Because they are thinking out loud. Here is a short list to notice. Like, you know. Kind of. Sort of. Maybe. Probably. You do not need to delete all of them forever. You just need to replace the worst offenders with silence. Silence is not empty. It is control. Rule 3. Control pace with checkpoints. If you talk fast, you will lose people. If you talk too slow, you will sound unsure. So we use checkpoints. Every time you finish a sentence, you do a tiny internal check. Was that a complete thought? If yes, continue. If no, stop and restate. This is how you stop mid-ramble without embarrassment. You simply say, "Let me say that cleanly." Then you deliver the line again. Example, I think the issue is, there's a lot of moving parts, and people are kind of confused, and it's not totally clear who owns what. Let me say that cleanly. Ownership is unclear, so execution is slow. We need one owner per deliverable. That is strong. That sounds like leadership. Time and energy realism. This tool works best if you practice when the stakes are low. Do not wait for the big presentation to try silence for the first time. Practice in daily life. Order coffee with a clean sentence. Ask a question at work without a disclaimer. Give an opinion in one line. 7-day mini experiment. For 7 days, pick one clutter habit to reduce. Just one. Either filler words, or hedges, or weak openings. Time constraint. 1 conversation per day, 3 minutes. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode, you overcorrect and sound stiff. Fix, keep your natural warmth, but tighten the structure. You can still smile. You can still be human. Just stop padding your sentences. Retention open loop. Next, we're going to solve the hardest part. What to do when someone pushes back. When they disagree. When they interrupt your line. Tool 4, the pushback playbook. This tool is for difficult conversations. Because clarity matters most when emotions show up. Tool 4 has 4 moves. Acknowledge. Clarify. Anchor. Advance. Acknowledge. This is where you prove you heard them. Not with therapy language. With a clean sentence. I hear the concern about cost. I get why that feels risky. Okay, timing is the worry. 1 sentence. Then stop. Clarify. Ask 1 question that reveals the real objection. Not 5 questions. 1. What part feels most risky? Is the concern the money, or the uncertainty? Which outcome are you trying to protect? Anchor. Return to your line and your spine. You do not need to invent a new talk. You just return to structure. My point is we should ship the simpler version first. Reason. Example. Point again. Advance. End with the smallest next step. Not a grand finale. A next step. So the next step is we define success metrics by Friday. So the next step is we run a 2-week test. So the next step is we pick an owner and a deadline. Example, someone says, I don't think this will work. Acknowledge, okay. I hear that. Clarify, what part feels most likely to fail? They say, people won't adopt it. Anchor, my point is we should test it with a small group first. Reason, because adoption risk is real, and testing is cheaper than debating. Example, we can run it with 10 users for 2 weeks and measure usage. Point again, so we test first, then decide. Advance, next step is we pick the test group today. That is calm. That is not defensive. That moves things forward. Trade-offs, this tool is not about winning. It is about outcomes. Sometimes the best outcome is, we disagree, and we can still choose a next step. Your goal is not to be correct in public. Your goal is to be clear in public. 7-day mini experiment. For 7 days, use the acknowledge and clarify moves once per day. Even in small moments. A friend disagrees. A coworker questions you. A family member pushes back. Time constraint, under 60 seconds. Acknowledge. Clarify. Then decide if you even need to continue. Common failure mode and fix. Failure mode, you skip acknowledge and jump to defense. Fix, force yourself to say 1 acknowledging sentence first. It slows the emotional spiral. It buys you control. Second midpoint recap. You now have 4 tools. Tool 1, the line before you talk. Tool 2, the 10-second spine using reason, example, point. Tool 3, the clean delivery rules. Tool 4, the pushback playbook. If you only do 1 thing, pick your line. If you do 2, add the spine. And remember, the toolkit is in the description so you can use the checklist later. Now, the 2-minute version is coming up again in the 7-day plan. And it will be the simplest thing you do this week. The 7-day plan and checklist, this is where we turn the method into action. You do not need a new personality. You need representatives, small representatives, on purpose. Day 1, pick the line. Time, 3 minutes. Pick one conversation today where you will choose your line before you talk. Say it as your first sentence. That is the win. Day 2, add the spine. Time, 5 minutes. Use reason, example, point once. One reason. One example. Then stop. Day 3, clean openings. Time, 5 minutes. Remove weak openings for 1 day. No, well, no, so, no, I guess. Start with meaning. Day 4, replace filler with silence. Time, 5 minutes. Notice your top filler. Replace it with a half-second pause. You will feel weird. Do it anyway. Day 5, rephrase on command. Time, 5 minutes. Once today, when you notice yourself rambling, say, let me say that cleanly. Then deliver the line again. Day 6, pushback practice. Time, 7 minutes. Use acknowledge and clarify in one disagreement. Then anchor back to your line. Day 7, one real-world rep. Time, 10 minutes. Choose a real situation that matters. A meeting. A conversation. A decision. Use tool 1 and tool 2. If there is pushback, use tool 4. After, write one sentence. What line landed? That is your data. The 2-minute version. Here it is. Pick the line. Give one reason. Give one example. Restate the line. Then stop. That's the whole thing. Clarity is usually subtraction. Let's finish clean. 3-bullet recap. 1. Choose your line before you talk. 2. Support it with one reason and one example. 3. Remove clutter and use calm structure under pushback. Concrete next step for today. Pick one conversation in the next 24 hours and do tool 1. Say your line first. That is the rep. Subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell. And check out the toolkit in the description so you don't have to take notes. And share this with one friend who keeps saying they want to stop rambling and start sounding sharp. Land those jobs, win those presentations, and communicate with clarity.